Zoe, to you, what do you deem as a successful AIG Women's Open?
I think it would mean bringing the best players together and seeing amazing golf during the championship week in all different types of weather conditions and letting the courses really play it at their best. And I think there's a lot of really good role models in the women's game at the moment, and undoubtedly they'll be the people who inspire the next generation of golfers to follow in their footsteps and hopefully eventually play in the AIG Women's Open themselves. So I think it's the playing experience, it's the spectator experience, and I think it's just that growing the game of golf.
We've held 16 Open Championships. We've had many other championships here over the years, and I think the whole history of this club is intertwined with golf majors, and we are but passing soldiers, if you like, in the membership of this club. It's or trustees, as somebody once put it. So not to share it with the golfing world would be a crime, really.
There's no wind.
Yeah, I want to shoot under par.
When the membership opened to women, and I was given the opportunity to become a member, I just said yes, please. It was so exciting just to be able to play the golf course that you've kind of watched all the greats playing, and as a youngster, even though I was female and it was a men's tournament, you still talk about, I've got this putt, I've got this 3-footer to win, to win the Open.
I've been acting like a wild man, sleeping like a child. You're so luminous and vibrant, I'm always in bloom for you. Always in bloom for you.
Lovely morning before the Muirfield shoot, but we're already 10 minutes late. The boys slept in. Alex and Brandon got in pretty late and played golf. So they're pretty exhausted right now, and the sun is starting to come up. It's supposed to be an overcast day, so hopefully this thing peeps through the clouds.
I think it starts even from just turning onto Dunker Road and driving down a road, it's not signposted as a club, and you just know that the gates are down there at the end of the road, and then there's just this amazing golf course at the end of it. So it's just, it's 18 great holes, one after the other, and the fact that we don't go out and back, it's these kind of clockwise and then anti-clockwise, and the wind's always different. It's just, every hole has got its different challenge.
Where are you born and raised in the area, or
No, I'm actually originally from Barbados, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Grew up in the Caribbean, moved to the UK when I was about 16 for school and sixth form and university.
Awesome.
And I just stayed here. Worked at some clubs down in England before moving up to Scotland.
Whereabouts in England?
I was at Sunningdale Golf Club for a while,
Yeah.
and New Zealand Golf Club.
Awesome.
So yeah, I moved up here. Worst places to come into work every morning.
No shit. How do you view the evolution of the Honourable Company of Edinburgh Golfers?
Well, I suppose because of the long history of the club, the long recorded history of the club, I suppose it's very difficult sometimes to think back to 1744, and you've got a group of like-minded as they were called then, gentlemen, who enjoy their golf, playing along with many others who formed bands, societies, clubs down, playing on Leith links. And then you move on, and they moved from Leith to Musselburgh. Then it got too crowded at Musselburgh, and it was a very enlightened decision to choose this place. But the question really is, what have we taken from that time that is still relevant today for the membership here at Muirfield? And many of the things that we hold dear, as you perhaps know, that our game here is a 2-ball game. The day's golf tends to be a 30, and certainly for our club, what we call club matches, which are dinner matches, they're all 36-hole matches with lunch in between. So you stand up and say, Mr. Captain, sir, with your permission, on such and such a date, Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so and I wish to play a match against X and Y, 4 club stakes plus whatever and that's then recorded, and everybody at the dinner can then wager on your match.
I like it.
I've played many tournaments, played international matches, and it feels like more pressure playing knowing that someone has bet on your game than there was in some of these matches.
And the caddies also,
They have their own.
they have their
action,
own.
yeah.
They have their own action.
You're probably not the most present person.
No.
At the tournament.
No, because you find yourself, you've got a radio in one ear and you're chatting to somebody, but then the radio's going off. And I must just walk around that week with just a blank expression on my face because I'm kind of listening to that while I'm speaking to that person. The championship was established in 1976 by the Ladies Golf Union. It became a major in 2001, and the R&A got involved when the R&A and LGU merged. And I think it's a championship that is of significant importance to the R&A. We want to be one of the leading events in sport, not just golf. And we're very fortunate to have AIG as our title sponsor. They are real allies of women in business and also in sport and in golf specifically.
And the membership all totally embrace not just Open Championships, but Boys Amateur Championships, Curtis Cup, Ryder Cup, etc. I would honestly say it's really part of the club's DNA to be involved with and hosting major championships, right back to the beginning.
It's funny, we were watching some highlights in the 72 Open. There was that, both Jacqueline and Trevino eagled 9, I think it was, right?
That's correct, yeah. Well, I seem to remember that there was quite a noise when that happened, and we sort of wondered, I didn't see the eagles, but you sort of wondered what's just happened, because that was noisy for the restrained Scottish golf galleries. We had Watson in 1980, and he was playing such great golf in those days that it was almost a question of who was going to be second. Sort of moving on to Faldo's 2 wins. And then of course 92, where he birdied 2 out the last 4 holes, I think, or 5 holes to win. And so that was great. And then of course we had Els, the first 4-man playoff, and then sudden death, so that was a long day, but R&A produced the goods in the end. And of course, most recently, Phil Mickelson, who I think was the only player to finish under par in the 2013 Open, and again finished very strongly with birdies. I don't think anyone will forget those 2 shots onto the 17th green. When it was against the wind, nearly 600 yards the hole was, and he hit 2 admittedly strong sort of 2-3 woods onto the green. No one else was getting home that day.
What's par today?
78.
78, Mike?
It's par 71. I'll say 75.
There's no wind.
Yeah, I want to shoot under par. I don't know, it's hard though. It's a hard course, like its reputation is not easy.
So just hit our approaches on the first screen here, and I totally forgot how subtly downhill this entire hole really is. You can feel gravity just pulling you forward, and definitely the ball releases quite a bit.
The changes that Hawtree made and we agreed to have added to the course. What he did was, for instance, on the left-hand side of the first green, he just produced some very subtle hollows and little mounds just off the green, and that has made it a different. If you're just off the green there, it changes the shot that you have to make, you know, to get back on. I mean, to give you an example, in 2002, the hardest hole at the Open was the first hole.
All right, so I'm down on the second fairway by the green. This short four is brilliant, 365 from the backs. You don't want to be chipping over those bunkers on your approach shot. So you ideally force yourself a little bit left off the tee, but when you do that, you bring the OB wall into play over here. There's something about that tee shot downhill, the Firth in the background. It's just one of my favorite holes at Muirfield. This thing is so good. If you do miss left, not only do you bring the OB into play, but if you manage to stay in, then you've got to deal with this cheeky little runoff right here in front of the green.
I did it. Okay, just found Alex's provisional in the left fescue. He's having a rough go already this hole. On the third hole here, interesting hole. Pretty short. Kind of like number 2 is pretty short, but number 3 is short as well. I think it was 377 from the tips. But the main feature of this hole is the narrowing. So you can kind of pick and choose. I would assume most of the women in the AIG will lay up short of these mounds. Really no point trying to shoot the gap up here. I mean, I tried to do it, but I'm not playing in the Open. But pretty cool hole. Like if you miss left or missed right, then you'll probably have a blind shot over the mounds. Or you just hit a dead center like me and you just pitch it on. Like it's, I don't know. It seems pretty easy, but whatever. Alex is over in the weeds, having a good time. Brandon's third shot. Sit, sit. Misread? Totally. Okay, that's good for dub.
In 2013, the hardest hole was the short fourth hole, but they never played from the back tee. They put in a brand new back tee, apart from on the practice round. I think I'm correct in saying that. And if they did use the back tee, it was only on one day.
On 4.
On the 4th, yeah.
Well, that green side it's got a ton of contouring around it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Alex on 4, just missed the green right. Go, go. Oh no. Just missed the 4th hole green left, and it just booted down this hill. This is my view. I'm gonna putt it. Good luck.
That's pretty good. Just a little farther left and you had the perfect speed.
The east wind tends to bring bad weather. It means that holes like the 17th and the 5th which are par 5s, are directly into the wind.
That's really interesting how much rise you get on this hole, and it's so gradual. I mean, you traverse almost the entire width of the property on this hole and the third hole, and by the time you're here, you're near to the highest point of the club from being otherwise at one of the lowest on the second green.
And yeah, you don't even really notice it while you're coming up the hole until you look back.
What do we have to worry about on the around the green?
You don't want to be on the left side of the green, two-tier green. Everything will fall away and fall down into the 3 bunkers down on the left side, which are all pretty deep. There's a bunker 10 yards beyond the pin on the right side. Your club will bounce short, I think, and run up to the front, run up the little ledge.
Okay. All right, so what's also sneaky about this green is there's a ridge that runs front to back right in the middle of the green. So you really got to get on the right side of that tier. You can see it running all the way up there. And then long of the green, some of those Trevino runoffs just past the green here. So it really gives the super a bunch of options every morning in terms of pin locations on the green, both because of the ridge and all the trouble around the green. Back bunkers, side bunkers, long runoffs back here. It's just a really cool approach when you have, depending on the wind, gettable par 5.
Send off, look at the camera.
There it is. Perfect.
Oh! Wow. Unreal.
When the changes were made to the course ahead of the 2013 Open, and the changes were actually made about 2-3 years ahead of time, and distinguished golf architect Martin Hawtrey was given the job of coming up with recommendations. But one interesting fact out of the changes that were made to the course, and there were quite a lot of fairly subtle, and perhaps you wouldn't necessarily see them if you didn't know the course well, but it's this fact that in those changes that were made to the course, not one change was made to any of the 4 par 3s. That tells you all you need to know.
And just walking up to number 7 here, the screen is so well protected. Probably highest point on the course potentially. So totally exposed today. We got lucky, no wind. Just look at these bunkers all along the left side. Great little par 3.
It's a good one.
For the amateur golfer, mere mortals playing the game, if you think of the cross bunkers at 8, you know, you've had a good drive, especially if it's downwind, you've probably got quite a short iron into the green, so you're going to go for it, no question. If there was a strong east wind against, certainly for amateurs and older players, you know, you just have to play short because you hit it in those cross bunkers, and if you get it out the first time, you're not going to get down in 2 from the bunkers very often.
The 9th hole, the bunker that was put in down the right-hand side, is very much in play for the better golfers, amateur golfers, the bunker, the cross bunker up the left-hand side is very much in play from that middle tee. With the tee going back for the pros, yes, I mean these days they can take an iron, but they have to place the ball.
Reluctantly hit 3-wood off the tee because Kev was telling me driver's too much. I ended up at the 210 plate here, 194 front edge. All you can see from the right side of this fairway is the left wall. Everything, because the ground brings you left to right all the way up by the green, so you actually want to be hitting it left of the flag, which just brings this wall into play. Definitely a better angle from the left side of the fairway.
This is, of course, the hole that Jacqueline and Trevino both eagled the final round of the Open. But it'll be interesting to see the ladies this year. You know, they'll definitely be able to go at this in two, especially some of the longer hitters. Alex just hit a big shot. What'd you hit, Alex?
Jacqueline special, 5-iron. About 10 feet for eagle.
Ooh. One eagle look. I'm putting for par. I was 3 off the tee. And Brandon is sky on this hole. I don't even know what he's hitting right now. Okay, good out. Couldn't do it.
If you were sitting in the what's called the smoking room, from that window you can see the first green and you can see the 9th tee and the 9th green. So effectively from that window you can see the whole course. But definitely that's a unique feature because at the time many of the links courses were out and in. I myself was a member at Royal Aberdeen, out and in, Nairn, out and in, Dornoch, out and in. So that would have been different. And given the prevailing weathers, it adds to the difficulty. And just the fact that you have to adjust for the wind at almost every hole in itself makes you have to think harder. You can't just go on automatic.
What do you avoid on the tee there, Brandon?
Yeah, you definitely want to avoid the 3 fairway bunkers up the right-hand side. I mean, even with the green where it is, I think you probably want a better angle than up the right.
First time you kind of go to the interior of the property, which is neat. The whole front nine, you just go along the outside. So now we're gonna meander through the interior, I guess. Should be a birdie hole though for the women in August, I think. Just teed off 11. Big blind tee shot. Awesome tee shot. I don't even know what's on the other side. Ooh. Oh no. Here at the 11th green, 12T. Cool part of the property here.
You'll need to have a 6-iron.
Okay.
Straight at the left-hand bunker, which will leave you maybe 10 yards short maybe 130 at the front edge, pins on about 15.
Not the driver.
Definitely not. Driver just brings in all sorts of trouble, bunkers and rough.
Okay, good stuff. So after Kev tells me to lay up, obviously I bust out driver on 12th tee. Here I am searching for my soul on the 13th green. Looking for my ball as well, which I'm hoping is in one of these. Oh, there we go. Just short of 13 green off the 12th tee. Brilliant.
Pretty good.
It's a pivotal hole, the 13th. It's just the smallest green on the course, because as you know, having played it, it's very narrow. You know, if you get it straight and you're broadly at the right distance, you've got a reasonably, easy 3 certainly, and a possible 2.
It's all about one. It's less so about distance control there, because you do have 10-20 yards, but if you're 4 or 5 yards off line.
Absolutely, it's all about the line. And I mean, again, down the prevailing wind off the championship tee, they're probably hitting not much more than a 7-iron. Some of the longer hitters probably hitting 9-iron. But against the wind, slightly uphill, and you've got 180, 185 yards into the wind. Quite a few of the players in 2013 came up short. They couldn't believe that really they should probably have been hitting a 4-iron.
Beauty.
I think you can't tell by the drone footage is just how much gravity plays a factor on this golf course, and holes like 1 and 2, you start to feel that right from the get-go, and here on 15 is the same thing. Like, it doesn't look downhill from the tee box, but it is so downhill.
Ooh, this guy. What a birdie.
And one of the things that not everybody sort of appreciates about this course, because there is a lot of subtlety to it, is that the course was laid out for the prevailing wind, obviously, and the prevailing wind is coming from the west, and the 16th green is therefore, the slope is against the wind, if you like. But if you get the wind out the east, particularly the par 3s, become very difficult, and genuinely you see good golfers who can, from the back of the green at 16 or even 13, they can putt right off the green, because you don't realise how fast it is, and the wind then keeps the ball rolling, and before you know it, it's gone and rolled all the way off the front of the green.
So a little into the breeze, like on 178, I'm thinking little 6-iron. I didn't catch it great, but I landed on the front. The thing about the 16th green, especially the front, you see what Phil did in 2013, is how severe that false front is. Ball rolls right back down here. Now I'm struggling to decide putt or chip.
The 17th hole, we've got the option there to move the tee forward on the final day, so that could create some really nice birdie or even eagle opportunities at what will be a critical point in the championship. So I think it's getting that balance of of risk and reward, and just presenting a course that the players are going to have fun playing and be able to show what they can do.
Just about to hit my second shot on 17. Hit a good drive. Not really sure what's going on up here. There's a lot of undulation. Oh, if I hit it a little further, I could have caught this slope. Alex found the bunker on 17. Cannot go for this green, I don't think. Oh god. Just like Azinger. He's gonna lose his match today, just like Paul. Pretty wild bunkering on 17. It's just like a little sliver. Oh gosh.
Your entire, like the whole year is like leading up to this, right?
It is, and it's almost like, I think the first time I met with Muirfield was May last year, and we're already working on Malton Heath for next year. So you're always planning the following year's event whilst you're planning the current year's event. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, you know, I think there's a great deal of excitement amongst the membership. This will be the first time we've held a major women's tournament here.
We all know what it's been like watching the Open and seeing some of the men play here. But it's just going to be fantastic to watch some of these women play here and see how they take on the course.
What do you hope to see around the direction of the Honourable Company over the next 25, 50 years?
I think more of the same. I think the club is in such a good place with, there's 20 women members now, over whatever it is, 3 years, which has been, great. The women that are members so far love it, feel included. So it's, as I say, yeah, it's just more of the same and continue to grow. The golf course continues to be ranked, top in the world, one of the top 3 in the world, top 5 in terms of visitor. Visitors come Tuesdays and Thursdays. As soon as the bookings open, within days, it's booked up for a year ahead. So everything's just so positive. I think at the club, the club is strong, the Honourable Company, and the golf course continues to be hugely sought after and rated.